Hail and well met, everybody. Welcome to Geek, Thyself, a show by nerds, for nerds,
who love geeking out over random facts and esoteric trivia. My name is Heather.
I'm Russell.
And we'll be your hosts for this journey through the wondrous land of information.
Hi guys, welcome back to Geek Thyself. In this episode we're going to be covering part 2 of our Meyers Briggs personality assessments and the results that we get, along with the other results that you might be able to get. This episode was too long, so we decided to cut it into 2, so this is the rest of it. If you missed last week's episode and want to catch up, feel free to go one back and you can listen to the whole thing, or just jump straight in now. Thanks guys.
When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know.
Middle agree for me. I have a feeling yours is going to be slight disagree.
Mine's going to be middle disagree.
Yeah.
Because it partly depends on the event and what I'm doing there. Because if I'm there to spend time with my friends, am I going to introduce myself to other people and stuff? Absolutely. But I'm also going to mostly talk to my friends that I know. But I wouldn't say I rarely introduce myself. That's not accurate.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to go with middle disagree. All right, next page.
You usually lose interest in a discussion when it becomes philosophical. Gotta be honest, I don't think I have very many philosophical conversations.
Yeah, I think I have to go, exactly in the middle on this one.
Yeah.
Because it 100% for me depends on what the topic is. Earlier today, Logan and I talked for hours about and I consider this a somewhat philosophical conversation about the term races in Dungeons and Dragons and what does race mean and how do you make something work that isn't, insulting to anyone and also gets the point across and people are just people, but the races are so intrinsic in D&D, the kind of conversation of what does it mean and how can you work with it and how can you make sure it's not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
That was an entire conversation. He and I spent a bunch of hours today talking about that. But if you were trying to talk to me about, I don't know, philosophy, Plato type of philosophy, I'm not going to care.
Yeah.
If it's something that affects people on the day-to-day kind of philosophies, those I love talking about. But if it's something that's really, really, really existential, like staring at an egg and you're asking yourself, does this egg exist? Do I exist?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things I have zero interest in.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I think I'm right in the middle.
For me, I'm maybe slightly disagree because I do like those kind of conversations depending. So but it's very near the middle. It's almost on middle, but it's just slightly disagree.
Mm-hmm. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. I have to say strong disagree.
Yeah, I've cried in front of people. I have no problem crying in front of my friends. Not even a little bit.
No, I've sobbed in front of, I've sobbed on stream. I've sobbed in front of friends. I cry at work. Especially with the work I do. I have cried harder than the owner in a euthanasia before because it was a cat that I pet sat for outside of work. I was crying harder than his owner when we had to finally euthanize him. And it wasn't, to be clear, it was not because his owner didn't care. She was also very, very sad. But she'd already said her goodbyes at home and had sort of mentally prepared herself for it, whereas I hadn't been prepared for it, and then he came in that day and had to be euthanized. So, I was sobbing. And she was sad, but she wasn't breaking, and I was breaking. So I have to definitely say disagree.
Same. Okay, you feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than are more quiet and intimate ones. For me, it's got to be middle disagree. I sometimes like bustling things, but I will, like, if I'm ever in those kind of situations, I will always know of a place where I can go, that's where I can go and be quiet. Like, so that's what I'm thinking about. So, yeah, it's got to be at least, like, middle disagree for me.
I think I'm going to go with slight agree, because I like busy, bustling places. But
Sure.
I like being able to hear my friends talk.
Yes. Okay.
That's fair. So I feel like it's only a slight agree, because I do hit a point where I'm like, this is too much. I can't hear you and you're next to me. This is a problem.
Definitely. Okay.
You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Big yes. I enjoy talking about that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Same.
That's just it. Yeah, I enjoy envisioning what could happen and what might happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head.
No.
I had a feeling. You're a very logic person. For me, I'm going to put slight agree, because my emotions will always be important to me, and like, it's just how it is. Like, my emotional state tends, like, it doesn't override my head mostly, but it still plays a big part in how I feel about everything. So.
Right. Well, it's like when you could make a logical decision and still have the emotion weigh heavily on your decision, because for you, the emotion makes a bigger portion of what's important in that decision.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, what's gonna happen if I do? Like, for me, you're right. It's the logical, like,
you've gone straight to the actions and consequences and have missed the feelings. Not as a bad thing, but that's just how your brain works. That's totally fine.
Yeah. I still consider them. They're just lower in my ranking in terms of importance in making the decision, usually. So I am going to go, though, with middle disagree, not full disagree, just because there are some times where the emotion weighs more heavily. You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something that you cannot see, touch, or experience. I have to say agree.
I think I'd go slight agree. Yeah.
I have to go with strong agree. That doesn't sound interesting to me at all.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I'm just going, like, maybe slight to middle agree is because I don't know what I would study like that. So
well, yeah, the only thing I could think of would be either, like, conceptual things, like you'd be studying, like, the idea of justice or something. Like, you can't physically see justice, you can't touch it. Experiencing it is kind of iffy, but it's a concept as opposed to, like, a physical thing that you can touch.
I don't think I could like just like do that.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's like, maybe, and I don't mean any offense to this, maybe studying faith, like all kinds of faith, because you can experience it in a way, but again, you can't see, touch, like, you can't interact that way with the concept of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't think I could do that, so yeah, I put middle agree.
Yeah, I put strong agree, because I definitely, like, no interest in that at all. Like, no offense to anyone who finds that kind of study interesting, it is just not my thing.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. Big disagree for me. I'd rather just forgive and forget.
I'm gonna go with slight agree.
Oh, you're a revenge kind of person. Okay.
It depends. I don't know if revenge is the right word so much as closure. Sometimes the closure looks like revenge. I don't know.
If that's what you're drawn to, that's what you're drawn to. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. You often make decisions on a whim. I'm gonna go with middle agree for me.
You make decisions. It depends on like the thing. Like, is it like food? Yeah, I'll make that decision on a whim. Like that's fine. But like, I spent a lot of time thinking about where I wanted to study, and why I wanted to study there. So I feel like big decisions, I don't tend to just go, oh, that'd be fun. So I'm gonna go slight disagree.
That's fair. I was thinking of just decisions in general, not of like big decisions, but you are right. Big decisions I wouldn't make on a whim. So
that's why I've gone slight disagree, because there are some things that I definitely would just make on a whim, but some things I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go on that one with you too for the same reason.
The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. Sometimes, but rarely. Like, I really enjoy D&D.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with strong disagree.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm gonna go slight, because like there can be times.
Yeah, I mean, I like reading, I like watching YouTube videos and stuff, but usually if I'm by myself, I'm doing things like watching YouTube videos or reading a book. I'm not doing something that's, as satisfying as playing a game with friends.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's fair. Like, I really do enjoy playing games. Okay, I've moved that to middle disagree. Okay, alright.
You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning or the message of a song or movie. No.
See, for me, it's yeah, but I also studied a film degree. I enjoy doing that. Like, I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy doing it, so I think that's got to be a middle agree for me.
I'm going to go with middle disagree, because there are some times where I listen to lyrics or something. I
try and break it down.
I almost never do it for movies. Almost never. Oh, God, I have it's not for this episode, but I have a movie story that you will appreciate, I think, as someone who studied film, and I hate this movie so much with a passion. Hate it with a passion.
We can talk about it at some point then.
But yeah, I have to go with middle disagree.
Fair enough. All right, you always know exactly what you want. No, I don't.
I quite often will like go up to the counter to order, and I'm the person that's like split-second decision, because I don't know what to order, and it's between like three things.
Yeah, like sometimes like I will know, but most of the time I'm just like, I will walk in and see what's there. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go with middle disagree, because there are situations where yes, but mostly no.
Yeah, I did the same. So.
Yeah. You rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently.
Big disagree. We've talked about this.
Yeah, that's a middle disagree for me.
Yeah, that's a massive disagree. I always think about the things that I've done. Okay.
Oh, wait.
When in a public...
That was you rarely think. Can we go back?
I don't think so. Oh, no.
Oops.
Oh. Well, for me it was right, because it's you rarely think. That was disagree. I think about it a lot.
I clicked on... Oh, well. One question. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Oh, well. When in a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas. Yeah, that's a middle agree for me.
Mine's a middle disagree.
Yeah. You're extroverted? I would never have guessed.
Right?
Okay.
You tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities. I have to go with middle agree.
Yeah, I think I think about now rather than the future a lot of the time. So yeah, I think middle agree for me as well. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. No, I'm very empathic. I'm very good at being able to understand what people are saying. And I can listen long enough for the people to actually say what they want to say, rather than the thing that they're saying just to say a little bit of it, if that makes sense. Like, because people like to hold back, and like I've been told I've got a very calm and opening aura. So yeah, for me it's disagree.
I actually am leaning towards middle disagree, Because I don't think
Yeah, I put middle disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have a hard time understanding other people's feelings.
Yeah.
I just don't always care.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
That sounds very bad for a Ravenclaw Huff. Well, maybe it doesn't sound bad for a Ravenclaw. It sounds bad for a Hufflepuff, which is
yeah, I'm a proud Hufflepuff. I will spend the time you need for me to understand.
Yeah, for me, part of it is because, like, there's times where I don't care. Like, when someone's mad at me because we ran out of their cat's specific dry food, and I'm like, the company has it on back order. I'm really sorry, this is a problem. I can do X, Y, and Z. You know, like, I can't do anything else. And they're, like, freaking out and yelling or start crying. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean? Like, getting upset over it or acting like we've wronged them somehow, or how dare you? And I'm like, I just told you I have no control over it. You didn't call us ahead of time and ask us to set the bag of food aside for you, so I just don't care anymore.
Fair enough. Okay. Is this one mine?
I think it's mine. When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd like to get the outline of at least what I'm thinking of ready. That way I can go into more detail later.
I'm going to go with middle agree, because I don't have to have, like, every single thing decided, but I want to have at least an overview.
Yeah, the framework of it, yeah, I'm the same. Okay. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you.
No.
I see.
This honestly, like, never comes into my brain, ever.
Well, I mean, what never comes into my brain is that I think people think highly of me. If we're going to be honest here, but I'm just saying it's the truth. I would put slight agree on there just because, yeah, I feel like if I ever did think someone thought highly of me, I'd be like, I'm going to disappoint you eventually. That's just how I am. I'm sorry. I know you're shaking your head. I don't even need to look. I know you're shaking your head.
You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Yes.
No. No. It doesn't say someone you don't know. Slight disagree. No, middle disagree. Because if it's a person I don't know, there's no way in the world it's happening. But if it's someone I know, yeah, I could walk up to them and talk. Yeah. Okay. You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas and scenarios. Yeah. Middle agree for that. I don't do it nearly as much as I used to, but I can still do it.
I'm going to have to go into middle disagree, because not really. I mean, occasionally, but I wouldn't say often. You look after yourself first and others come in second. No. This is a big disagree. I will put all my energy, like I've put all my spell slots into other people before and then realised, I actually needed one of them for myself. It happened. I will put other people first. I'm gonna go with middle disagree, because there are situations where I'll put myself first, but a lot of times I'm putting others first instead.
Yeah, that's fair. Even when you have planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment.
I'm gonna go with middle agree. No, slight agree.
I think I'm also there, like at slight agree, because
like on a day off,
I can break routine really easy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like if it's like a day off, and my plans were to go to like X store and then Y store and then maybe do laundry, I'll break that in a heartbeat. If you're talking about just like getting up in the morning and going to work, no, I don't break that routine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like, I was going to go to the shop, but now I'm not feeling it, so I'm not going.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go slight agree. Your mood can change very quickly.
Yes.
No.
Middle agree. Like, it can change quickly. There have been points where it has gone through a lot of things all at once. Doesn't do it very often. Slight agree, because it doesn't do it as often anymore, but it can do.
I'm going with middle disagree, because again, this goes back to like I tend to be very go with the flow.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it changes quickly.
I am generally, but there are certain things that can make it happen. So.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going full disagree, because there are things that will set me off very quickly. Like, as an example of something that will bring Heather's wrath down on you faster than you can blink, if someone hurts an animal.
Yeah.
Like,
why am I not surprised?
You are going to feel my wrath. Or a child. If someone hurts an animal or a child, it's like instant wrath from me. No questions asked. But, like, except for extreme cases like that, my mood isn't gonna, like, flip on a dime.
That's fair. Okay. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life.
No.
Not really.
I'm gonna go with middle disagree, because,
I
mean, occasionally, but not often.
Yeah, I mean, like, anytime I think of that, I just think of 42. Like, that's that's the extent of my thought of that.
Yeah. Don't forget your towel.
Yeah.
Okay. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions. I'm gonna go with slight disagree, just because of the wording. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely had that with you sometimes, so you're a little bit more closed off. Which is fine. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. With me, if I'm with the right people, I can talk about my own feelings and emotions. So I'm going to put middle.
Yeah, and I'm only going slight disagree, because, like, I will talk about them. I'm not going to not tell people I care about things, but I also I'm not one of those people who's necessarily going to gush about it. So I feel like slight disagree is accurate. You have got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future. No.
Big disagree. Nope. No, just not thinking about it. I think, that's one done. You rarely dwell on your regrets. Slight disagree.
Yeah, because we've already talked about this.
Yeah, I can think about it.
Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway. Disagree.
Agree. It happened at the meetup. I ran out of spell slots and didn't realise, and then I was spaced out for a bit. So, semi-agree for that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with strong disagree.
I'm not surprised. You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary.
Yes.
I feel like I'm a little bit more idealistic than I should be, so I'm going to put slight disagree.
I'm going with middle agree. I feel like one of the words that could be used to describe me is practical.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Which is another reason why I'm the director of operations. the
minutia. That's fair.
Okay. You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have.
Yes, I can. Like I said earlier, I'm fairly empathic, so I'm going to put middle agree for this.
I'm going to go with slight disagree, only because it's not that I can't empathize with them, but
it's just nobody don't care enough.
Well, not even that I don't care enough, but it's going to depend on what it is, on how comfortable I feel about empathizing with it. Not necessarily because I don't feel that or can't understand their feelings, but because I don't want to make assumptions about them. If that makes sense. Like, for example, I am very, very, very much an LGBTQ plus ally. Like, 100,000%, there's no question. But, like, I fully empathize and care about the struggles that my friends who are in that community have gone through. I definitely empathize with it, even though I've never gone through it. But at the same time, it's not always easy for me to fully empathize and fully understand, not because I don't care, but just because I've never had it happen to me. So even though I feel horrible for my friend that XYZ has happened, I don't, like, it's not necessarily easy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand that. That's totally fair.
Specifically because it says easy in that sentence is why I'm
again you're showing your detail orientated rather than big picture of the question. But I like it. It makes sense. All right.
You have a point.
Yeah, I do, don't I? Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than to organized and consistent efforts.
No.
Yes. There will be times when I'm just suddenly like, yes, let's do some writing. So I'm going to put slight agree for that.
I'm going to go slight disagree. I think I'm generally more organized than that. It depends partly on what it is, though.
My organisation has always been fairly mediocre at best. So, yeah, I'm happy with slight disagree there.
Your emotions control you more than you control them. No.
They want to, but I don't let them. Or at least I don't try to let them. So I'm going to put slight agree.
I'm going strong disagree. I don't think that's accurate for me.
That's fair. After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need. No. Is it a D&D party? Because then, maybe, but otherwise, no.
So maybe you should go, like, middle.
Yeah, okay. I'll put middle disagree in case it is a D&D party.
I'm going to go with middle agree. Just because, especially depending on who's going to be there and what's going to happen, even if initially I'm like, God, I'm so tired, do I really want to go? Once I get there, I'm going to love it and feel energized.
Well, yeah, because if you're an extroverted person, you'll get the energy from the people there, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
You frequently find yourself wondering how technological advancement could change everyday life. Yes.
Yes, I think about that a little bit. At least enough to put middle agree.
I'm putting strong agree. I think about this all the time.
I think because of your job, you have more reason to think about it, if that makes sense. Because
probably.
Like, it could make animal welfare better and people welfare better as well. So yeah, that makes total sense.
Okay, and that's the midpoint.
50%, yeah. We're going to jump into our mid-roll and we'll see you all in a little bit.
Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to this week's mid-roll. So, because this episode has turned out to be a little longer than we anticipated, it's going to be a very fast one. So, cannot talk about them enough. We love them so much. Please go check out worldanvil.com. World Anvil is this amazing website. They let you do a lot of world building and creation, so it's fantastic for if you're an author writing a story and you want to flesh out your world, or if you're a dungeon master or game master and you want to flesh out the world that your characters are playing in. It's the most robust campaign development software that exists. We know this because Logan, one of the Nerdsmith directors, has tested pretty much every single one, and it's definitely an amazing product, an amazing group of people. worldanvil.com.
They also won an Emmy for it, so that's more proof. Okay, secondly, along with them, we are supported by Die Hard Dice. They make music, they make beautiful, amazing metal and polymer dice, along with a boatload of accessories for all of your needs. You can search by class. They are producing new dice as often as they can with new colours and new finishes, and they have their dual colour line for Spellbinder series and their metal dice. They're gorgeous, they're very kind, they're amazing people. If you want to roll with the best, just go to dieharddice.com. You don't need to go to anywhere else.
Yes, and you can use the coupon code Geek Thyself to get 15% off of your next or your first purchase, whichever it happens to be.
Yes, you can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
And back into this week's topic.
Yep. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before doing something. I wish I did, but not as much as I probably should.
Yeah, I do, but not always. See, this is one of those ones where the details come into play for me, because do they occur, do the side effects of my actions occur to me in terms of the emotions of the people? Yes. I just don't always care. Which sounds really bad, but it depends, because like it like, for example, as one of the supervisors at work, sometimes if someone calls and we have no appointments open, depending on if it's actually medically needs to be seen right away, and if we can fit it in our day somehow, and also if we have the staff available to make it possible, sometimes we will fit in an emergency appointment. There's an extra fee. It costs more because we are creating an appointment where one does not exist. But also as a supervisor, depending on the situation, I have the ability to say we're waiving that fee because of X, Y, and Z reasons. Like maybe it's a patient who's been in 3 days that week already, and the owner just cannot afford that emergency fee, but this is a patient we've already been seeing regularly, and it's just a quick follow-up, like things like that sometimes the doctor or the supervisor can approve. So, like, yes, I consider how my actions are going to affect those people, because if I'm making the decision to tell my staff what to do that day, that is me affecting that. But at the same time, there's other ones, like, we've had people call same day saying, you know, oh yeah, my cat, it's fine, there's no issues, I just want to get it vaccinated today. I'm like, okay, we don't have any regular open appointments today. Like, I have no problem quoting those people the urgent care fee. Like, your cat's not dying, your cat's totally healthy, you just happened to wait till the day of to call and ask if you could get a vaccine to take your cat to boarding. Sorry, you are not my priority. My priority is the owner who called saying their cat that we've been seeing 3 days this week not eating is still not eating. Can I please bring it in today? That's the one I'm going to pay attention to.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So yeah, so you're on the slight disagree side of things.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. You still honour the commitments you have made, even if you've had a change of heart. I think so. I think if I've made an agreement, like, I will still do it. Slight agree.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm going with slight agree, because it depends on the change of heart.
Sure.
Like, if I lived in Nazi Germany, for example, and had a change of heart, would I still honor my commitments to my country? And the answer is no.
That is fair. I didn't think of that, but yes.
If you're talking about, like, I agreed to help my friend move and then changed my mind and said I didn't want to, I'm still going to go help my friend move.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It's just like, well, I said I'd do it.
Mm-hmm. You rarely feel insecure. I'm going to go dead center, because for me, it 100% depends on the situation. Well, although it says you rarely, I'm going to go slight agree. Because of rarely.
I'm going to go middle disagree, which I don't think is a surprise to you. I wish I didn't feel as insecure as I do, but sometimes I do, so... Okay.
That was the last question, so we're going to see our answers now.
Yep.
I'm curious to see if... Oh, I'm not quite the same.
Oh.
But I'm mostly the same.
Okay. I am INFP still. That doesn't surprise me.
No. I got ESFPA. Whatever that means. Mine has an extra letter at the end, and I don't know what it is.
So does mine. Mine is T. Yours is assertive over turbulent for identity.
Oh, it was it at the end. Oh, okay. Yeah, wow. I'm yeah. All of mine are pretty heavily leaning one way or the other. What is F? F was nature. Okay, the only one I think I might disagree with is that one. I'm not sure. I mean, it says I'm an ESFP, and previously I was an ENTP. Or ESTP, sorry.
Thinking as opposed to feeling, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's how we make decisions and cope with emotions. And I am a pretty close split, though, on that one. I'm 60-40.
Okay. See, I'm 89% feeling.
Yeah. No, I'm
that doesn't surprise me. But.
No, mine is 60% feeling and 40% thinking. I think I'm probably a little closer to 50-50 on that one. My extroverted to introverted is 82 extroverted and 18 introverted.
My introverted is 75 and my extroverted is 25.
Let's see, and then energy. This trait shows where we direct our mental energy.
Intuitive or observant?
Yeah, and mine was 63% observant.
Mine's 58% intuitive, so it's only a very slight intuitive.
Yeah.
And then judging and prospecting. I am 67% prospecting.
I'm 54% prospecting and 46% judging.
So it's very close.
Yeah. So when I took the test before,
Yes.
at work, we were doing, and I explained it a little bit during the solo episode I did, but we were doing it specifically as like a team building exercise to see like how different people communicate differently. So the way these were broken down for me, that I think is a really very easy way for people to access it in terms of what these terms all mean.
Yeah.
Most people think of extroverted as just like you're crazy and out there, and introverted's like the nerdy guy hiding in the corner, and that's not necessarily the case.
No, not really.
No. The way I had it explained to me is that extroverted versus introverted is based off of kind of where you get your energy from when you're interacting.
For me, interacting with a lot of people will drain my energy, whereas reclusing to be by myself will give me that back. Right. Whereas you being by yourself for a long time can actually drain you of your energy, but you being in a group of more people will feed your energy from their energy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm the opposite. I get energy from being with people.
Yeah.
And then intuitive versus observant, or the way I've heard it referred to also as intuitive versus sensing. This has to do with sort of what information your brain takes in the most, or what you take in first. Mm-hmm. So like intuitive it takes in the emotion more. Whereas observant is what it's listed on here, or sensing takes in the detail more, the minutia of it.
I get you.
So like someone who's intuitive, which I think is what you were more so,
yes.
is going to walk into a room and see their friends, and the first thing you might catch is, oh, Heather looks sad.
Yeah, which is true. If I walk into a room, it's like, you look off. Yeah. What's wrong?
Whereas for me, I'm going to walk into a room and find my friends and be like, oh, there's also a person I know standing in that group talking, and a person over there. And, oh, look, 3 of my friends are wearing the same color T-shirt. Did they plan that? Like, my brain is looking at those details.
Yeah.
As opposed to some of the more emotion-oriented aspect of it. And then the thinking versus feeling, it was... Oh, go ahead.
I was just about to say, speaking of emotional things, we're going into thinking of the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So,
so thinking versus feeling is basically just how you make your decisions, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like I don't want anyone to assume that someone who's feeling is like the person who's just like, I'm feeling all these things and you have to listen to me. That's not what we're talking about. It's the example I used, I think, in the solo episode still applies. I used peanut butter as an example. Because recently, My
Yeah?
husband bought another thing of peanut butter, even though I already had one in the cupboard. But the one I had in the cupboard was the store brand,
Uh-huh.
and he bought the name brand.
Okay.
So where I used this as an example for some of these things, like for just the decision-making aspects of personality trading, is thinking versus feeling. So I made the decision to buy the store brand of peanut butter because it was significantly less expensive.
Yes.
And because it tastes the same. It's peanut butter. It's close enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cheaper by like half. He bought the store brand. He bought the name brand. I mean, for one thing, he didn't realize I had one open in the cupboard, so that's different. But beyond that,
Yeah.
he wanted the name brand because in his opinion, they taste different.
Yes.
And he cares about that. I don't. This is a perfect example.
So yeah, it's thinking and feeling.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
It's 100% a perfect example. It's peanut butter. Like, it could be the most minor thing, but our
Yeah.
brains make that decision very differently.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm 60% feeling, but
No, you don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that. I definitely feel like I'm more thinking.
Yeah, I would agree that you're more thinking as well. That's a bit skew-if, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. And then you've got judging and perspective.
Yeah. And this for me was described as largely being like beyond how you make decisions, which is the thinking versus feeling. Like, how do you then implement it in your day-to-day life? And judging tends to be people who make more quick, not necessarily bad decisions, but just more quick decisions. Like,
Yeah, they can come to their opinions quicker. That's all.
yes, they come to their opinions quicker, and once they've made a decision, they're less likely to change their mind. They've decided, and that's it. And it's, again, not trying to say they're wrong. That's how their brain works. They've made the decision, they're sticking with it. It's what they decided makes sense with all of the information they have. Prospecting or perceiving, I've heard both terms used, which is what Russ and I both are. We tend to be the people who are like, okay, I think this is the right decision, but I want more information.
Yeah, and prospecting people can more freely change their opinion with more information.
Yeah. Yeah, if you
doesn't mean
present
they're
us,
better. Yeah,
No. It just means, like, we're the people that are more likely, and again, these are, like, the things you're more likely to do. There's always exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, there's always. Like, there are certain situations where I will be extroverted. But most of the time I'll be introverted. Yeah, these aren't cut and dry things. Like, this is you. Like, people are far too.
Yeah, like the reason there's percentages on these tests that we were talking about is because basically even the test itself is saying that, like, 63% of the time I notice the details instead of the emotion. But the other 37%, I notice the emotion too, or instead. Like, it's not always just the details. So everything is a split. Nothing's 100% one or the other, unless you somehow manage to get 100% one of them, which seems very unlikely.
I would be...
You would have to cheat.
I don't even think... Oh, yeah, you'd have to cheat for that.
You'd have to cheat the test for that to work. So the prospecting people or perceiving people, we're the ones that like all of the information before we make a decision. Like, you've told us X, Y, and Z, but what about A, B, and C?
Yeah.
Like, what about those other things that you didn't tell us? I want that information too. And we're also the ones that are more likely to change our mind if you present us with new information that gives us a different option. We like to have all the options. It's kind of like earlier I mentioned, the cruise. I wanted to be prepared for everything. So I had the emergency rations and I had the water tablets, even though I didn't think I was going to need them. I wanted to have the option.
Yes, that makes total sense. So that's... Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to it. That is our responses.
And then the assertive...
The identity one, which, again, I actually kind of find it interesting. This trait underpins all others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. Now, you got assertive.
Yes. 63% assertive.
Yes. Which means that you are very confident in your decision making, and once you've decided on those kind of course of actions, you're pretty much stuck for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I got 69% turbulent, which means that my thoughts and feelings and how my confidence is totally up in the air. So it's not even slightly going. But my personality type is mediator, which I have been told I am very good at being one of those. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Mine says entertainer.
Oh, I could definitely get that. Yeah.
But I'm curious if it lists the others somewhere, because I'm curious what ESTP.
Yeah. Oh, if you click on the three lines on the right, there's personality types is the first thing. Yeah, and it will go through all of them.
Okay, so let me scroll down. ESTP, because I definitely feel like that's more accurate. Okay. I'm just looking at like the little descriptions, not the big long one that's 3 pages long. So ESFP is entertainer. ESTP is entrepreneur. Ironically, I am one of the owners of a startup nerdy entertainment network.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it is also an entertainment network, so both fit, I think. Mm-hmm. Which is why they're very close.
Yeah, there's only one letter off between the two of them.
Yeah, and also your bars were very close, like it was a 60-40 split.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is basically the test. There's not much else to talk about. If you wanted to try it yourself, you can go to the website. It's 16personalities.com.
And it's
free.
16, the number 16, 1
Yes,
6.
sorry, yeah. Or just type Meyers Briggs into Google, and it'll be on the first page of results. It's free. Don't quote us on how accurate it is, but it's given me the same result twice in the past 6 years now. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is one thing to point out, too, is this test that we took is the one that Russ is more familiar with. We thought it looked easier, and it was also shorter to take for slightly shorter to take for the podcast. The test I took is actually 60 questions long, which would have taken even longer than this did. And it's a different website. It's similarminds.com. If you wanted to look at that one, they have a whole bunch of different personality tests you can take. So that may also be part of the reason why I got a different result previously.
Potentially. Because I think there are like 55 or something questions in this one. It's not very much. It's not a very big difference, but there is a small difference. But yeah, feel free to take the thing and let us know your results. And if you agree, do you agree with what you get? Because with me, I do. Heather does not, and
not entirely. I do mostly.
Not entirely. Yes, which that's fair. So yeah.
I feel like I could very easily be somewhere between the ESTJ or ESTP and ESFP. I could see it.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty. Well, thank you for listening to us ramble over potentially 2 episodes. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been the Meyers Briggs test. Let us know what you get or when you take it, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Geek Thyself. Don't forget to check out all the other amazing content on the Nerdsmith Network. If you have any questions for either of us, you can get in contact with us on Twitter at geek_thyself.
You can also email us at geekthyself@nerdsmith.org. And please don't forget to go to iTunes and leave us a review, or also go anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
We'll be back next week with another informative and fun episode.
And until then, don't forget to geek thyself.